Welcome to another video. In today's video, we're going to get this RV ready for some wintertime camping. Now, if you're a veteran RVer, you'll already know that all these RVs are not set up very good for wintertime camping. And if you're new to RVing, when they have that marketing that it has a winter package, I think you'll be shocked on how not ready it is for winter. Now, let me explain what kind of camper we are. So we don't camp very much. We use our RV just like an extension of our home. So we like to set our thermostat just like we do at home. So if it's in the heating mode, we like to keep it at 72 degrees and just in, t-shirts inside. So if you're the other type of camper, a lot of campers, they like to rough it and they leave the heat off during the nighttime and then only blast the heat on in the morning or whenever they want to. We do not use our RV like this. We set the thermostat, we set it and forget it. So with that said, there are a lot of things you need to do in order to make your RV run like that. If you've seen my previous video, I've updated all my ducting in my furnace. That's how we're capable of setting that thermostat and forgetting about it. One important thing here is up in the front. I do have this insulated cab curtain. Now this model already came with it and it makes a tremendous amount of difference. So if you don't have a curtain that separates the cab from the living area, all that heat is going to go wasted through that cab. And the cabs aren't usually insulated very well for weather, maybe for sound, but definitely not for weather. So you'll definitely want to have one of these. So that one was an easy one. One of the other items is that when we first got this RV, my kids complained that that upper area was pretty cold. And then for us as adults, it was really cold back here along this bedroom head area here. So it was a little bit shocking because we do have the Explorer package, which is supposed to have a little better insulation. In our previous Winnebago, we've already had this upper bunk area, and we didn't really have the cold issues before. So with that said, I think everyone's familiar with this Reflectix stuff right here. Originally, I was going to put the Reflectix up along the top, but the only problem with the Reflectix is it's kind of ugly. It has the silver in the front and the back, and I didn't want to put that in a brand new RV. So what I did was get this stuff right here. So if you look at this, I have where it's reflective silver on one side, and it's a white mylar on the other side, and in between, it has some closed cell foam. So instead of like the Reflectix, which is just basically bubble wrap with two silver mylars on both sides, the white is exposed, or that's the side I'm exposing. So if you look, I've already finished the project, but I put that white reflective material all the way along the top, notched around the window opener. And I put all that stuff up temporary. So if you've seen some of my previous videos, I use this product quite a bit. This is that clear double stick tape. And it works really good. You can put it on the wall. You can also take it off pretty easy by basically pulling it off really slow. But this is the brand that I used. There's many different brands online. And if you look back here, this is how I've installed it. Basically, it's just the white side facing out. And it's on there with this clear double stick tape. And I just put it at one level. I didn't notch around the windows. I just put it all at the same level. And again, it's a little better than the silver side exposed. It is still white, so it's not the prettiest, but definitely better than that reflective silver on there. And everything I have is pretty easy to undo. And that was my main purpose. If you ever want to resell it, sometimes some people like to have what the original finish was. So all you have to do is remove that double stick tape and all that ends up coming off. And you can use that same stuff. Some people line it up in the back of the cabinets inside here or any other area where your skin is going to touch or your food is going to be at. So that's definitely an item I think most people will have to do. You just have to put it anywhere where you have your skin touching these areas. You want to put this closed cell foam and it will make a huge amount of difference. I showed in my previous video my Max Air fan. I put in one of these magnetic insulated covers. So if you want to see how that was installed, I'll put a link to that video. But this is very important. Every RV is going to have these ventilation fans. And this magnetic one. It's really nice. You know, some come with that Velcro, but this is really nice. It's just on there with magnets. And you can just put up there with one hand, and you can leave it partially open. So if you still need to ventilate, but in the wintertime, obviously it gets very cold, and that will save a lot of heat. And of course, in the summertime, that works really good as well. So that's in this main living area. I put another one in the bathroom. So you will see here, same concept, just with magnets. And that's really nice, so you can put it away easy. And then carrying on with the theme, you know, every RV is pretty much going to have a skylight in the shower area. And I did the same thing. I have one of these magnetic covers here. Now this wasn't designed to be put on there with a magnet, but I bought my own magnets and put it up there. But this shower has the exact same skylight that I had in my Winnebago, and I think many other RVers have that exact same size. So I'll put a link to this. I'll also put a little clip in here of how I installed that. You know, the shower is a big source of letting heat in, and of course, same thing, it's gonna let heat out or the cold in. So we're gonna put in one of these reflective covers here. So this one comes with this black Velcro. I'm really not fond of it because, you know, when you end up taking this cover down, you're going to have these black Velcro strips. I guess you could use some white Velcro strips, but I want my fasteners or the method to be a little bit more concealed. So I'm going to try to duplicate. These came with magnets inside already. They fold into each other. So I think I bought a package of magnets, and I think I'm going to do the same thing. I'll take the shroud down and install some magnets inside, and I don't know if I'll show you the whole process, but that's my next step. Well, here's the inside shroud of the skylight shower. So you can see it's a two-piece, and that's the section that's up on the roof. Hard to see from here, but it's actually black on the roof. So if you haven't seen my previous video where I used a Plasti Dip to paint the top, if you end up painting the top white, that will tremendously help with controlling the amount of heat that comes in here. So this skylight, so this is for, I know I have a couple of followers that also own a Winnebago View or Navion. This is the exact same skylight, same size, same type, so same concept. So if you're interested in doing something like this, you can pretty much follow this to the T, but I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna put my magnets inside here. I'm getting ready to put this skylight back on, but you can see this cover's on there. It's on there with magnets. And I put the magnets on the back side, super glued them, and put this tape on there. So I will put it up and you can see what it looks like. Okay, another project wrapped up. You can see here, I have this piece here that can just be put up there with magnets like that. I don't know how well the camera will pick up. So when you're done, no Velcro left behind. And this piece goes up there, a little tough with one hand, but you can see this piece goes up there like that with just magnets. If you need partial light, you can leave it open like this, but really easy. This will work for heat and cold, of course. But in the summertime, I likely will leave this off, and you know, with the white painted top, it keeps most of the heat out. But this is mostly for wintertime, so the heat doesn't escape or the cold come in. And with that one, the only thing I don't like about it is, you know, it's obviously black. It just makes the room darker. I wish I had a white or reflective or a gray one like this that would match, but better than nothing. So we will jump on to some more winterizing projects. And then there are the windows. Of course, every RV is going to have windows. And for the most part, many of the RVs have the single pane windows. And I think everyone's familiar with this product, the Reflectix, or that other closed cell foam that I have. You'd have to do the same thing, make some cutouts for the windows. Now we are fortunate on this specific model, we do have the dual pane windows instead of the single pane, which make a tremendous amount of difference. But if you're camping in some extreme weather, this stuff still makes a big difference. Now with that said, these dual pane windows, there's a big flaw with these as well. You know, many of the windows are made by the same manufacturer. Now these are the Lippert windows, And I'll put in a clip here on the problem with these windows. We're going to do another winter preparation. And let's take a look at these windows right here. So I do have the Explorer package, which are the dual pane windows. Might be hard for the camera to pick this up, but this portion and the upper panel is dual pane. But if you look really closely on this weather gasket, you see there's a little slot right here, then another one right here. And if you look at this open window, let me move on over to the open window side. You see the problem that we have is, can you see that little bit of daylight coming through right there? And we have the same problem right here. There's daylight coming around in the corner right there. And if you look at the window closely, this portion is dual pane, but the bottom here, that is actually only single pane only. So when it closes on the gasket, it's really hard to see, but we're coming around to this window. So everything above here is dual pane, but there's a good 1 inch of glass here that's single pane. So what that creates is, one, it's letting this daylight through. And let me open this window up. And I think why they have that, I've seen this on other Lippert windows, is that that's like a weep hole. So if there's condensation, I think that's what they designed it for. Originally I thought it was a flaw that they actually cut the gasket short, but it's like this on every window. I really don't like that because it defeats the whole purpose of having dual pane windows. So what I'm going to do is put one of these, basically a foam rubber seal. It has a sticky back on it, and I'm going to put it everywhere where this single pane window is, and when we close the window, it will also hide that weep hole. Obviously, if you have a considerable amount of condensation, it won't be able to leak through here, but the whole purpose of the dual pane windows is that you don't get that. And that's what we're going to do here, is down at the very bottom when it hits the gasket, that 1 inch section, we're going to get rid of that. We're basically going to create a thermal barrier so we don't run into that. And that's the big problem I had in the upper window here, is that there's always a draft and you can feel the physical air coming in through the window. So we're going to take care of that and move on to the next. I'll just show you the finished project. Here's another area here that I did some preparation for winter camping. It's really hard to see, but yeah, it looks like the lighting's not going to pick it up. But I did put another weather seal here. This vertical piece was letting the daylight in, and I had to add another. I don't know if I'm going to show this on video or not because it's just coming in so poorly, but it's basically a flat piece of weather seal that's on the bottom of the slide out, and it's just making up the gap between the original seal. So if you have daylight down below, you will have to put one of these seals in. I put the seal in with the slide out in. It was a pain in the butt, but still doable. And I also put some seals on the side here where it was letting daylight in too. But every slide out is going to have some type of issue where it's going to let daylight in. And if obviously daylight comes in, cold air comes in as well, or your heat escapes. So you want to make sure you seal all those up. Let's jump on to the next item. Here's another area that we need to get ready for winter. If you can see, my batteries are all open to the elements. I've cleaned the battery compartment really good, but there was a little splash guard, that little rubber mat in the back we're going to take off. And I'm going to end up making a foam board and covering that foam with that flex seal, not the spray kind. I think the spray kind actually eats the foam, but the roll-on kind. And I'm going to seal up this battery bay completely because, as you all know, these batteries are not good leaving them out in the elements. So I don't think I'll show you the whole process. I'll show you the finished project. Here I'm getting ready to install these panels. So I painted them with this flex seal to protect that styrofoam. So I use this roll-on stuff, which is safe for foam. So let me get this installed in that battery compartment, and I'll show you the finished project. Well, here is my battery bay all complete, It definitely will not win any beauty contests. But I have a piece of rigid foam in the background covered with that Flex Seal. I have some caulking here too where the joints are, but I have some spray foam insulation where, again, also I ended up painting it so it doesn't look so ugly. But hopefully this will help in the wintertime. You'll definitely keep the weather elements out. And I didn't mention, I do have a Victron shunt right there. That came from the manufacturer, and this was open to the elements. That's not even rated for outdoor use. So I don't have an upshot shot of it, but it did start rusting right away. And I've heard reports of that failing whenever it's open out in the elements. So that's another reason why the manufacturer should have these battery bays, at least out of the weather from the get-go. I may end up cutting a hole in between these two storage bays because this one is actually heated, and also in the summertime this can get pretty hot, especially in the charge mode, so it needs some additional air circulation. But that's another modification for the future. Let's jump on to the next project. Okay, here's my very last modification. So right on the door itself, you know, most entry doors of RVs will have some type of window on it. And instead of using the Reflectix or the closed cell foam like I used up there, I like to have the natural light come in. So I put this really large bubble wrap. So not the really small ones. I wanted the bigger ones so I can see out a little bit better. So this actually lets in a lot of natural light, and it will also have some insulating qualities. This big bubble wrap, all it is I applied it just like window film. I cleaned the glass, sprayed it with water, and just basically it's on there with friction fit. But instead of putting the Reflectix in and you just can't have any natural light in at all, this will help. It's definitely better than nothing. And it is only a wintertime modification. You don't want to do something like this in the summertime because I'm assuming that those large bubbles, they're going to act like a magnifying glass, so it's going to get way too hot. So you don't want to do this in the summertime, but definitely a wintertime mod. And I'll probably use that same bubble wrap in my dual pane windows in the area on the windows that I like to have natural light come in. So that's really it for this video. But the moral of the story is, it doesn't matter what type of RV you have, like this one is advertised for winter use, and it was not comfortable from day one. So we definitely had to do some modifications. And I'll show you the RV in action in really cold weather. Really cold is a little figurative. It depends on where you live, but I'll definitely do some wintertime camping with it and see how well this performs after my modifications. So hopefully you like videos like this, and I'll see you on the next video.